Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Pink and Channels. Connor Southwell, joined by Paddy Davitt, who's at the London Stadium. I sadly am not. I'm missing this evening's game in isolation, but I'll be following along from afar. We're going to bring you the team news very, very shortly. We're expecting it to drop. I would imagine there's going to be one major talking point as soon as it does drop, to be completely honest, which we'll probably expand on when that team news does drop in just a minute or so's time. Pad, very quickly, I may have to cut across you very, very shortly, but what's your kind of expectation for this team? Dean Smith kind of hinted yesterday that there was a possibility of a three at the back. Do you think he'll head in that direction tonight?
We'll find out shortly, Connor. Yeah, I mean, I didn't do the presser, but that seemed to be the vibe, didn't it, from the comments, reading between the lines, referencing sort of how they set up against Tottenham. And, of course, he's got the capability to do that now with Hanley, Gibson and Kabak. No Cantwell, I think it's safe to say. I don't think we're breaking any confidences there as it's going to drop imminently, but led to believe that's still illness with Todd. Before we run,
sorry, I do have it here. The Norwich City starting lineup looks the way the club have set it up is in a 4-4-2 formation, and Norwich City look a bit like this. Tim Krul in goal, Max Aarons at right back, making his 150th appearance for the club. Grant Hanley next to Ben Gibson with Brandon Williams at left back. A midfield four of Poheta, Lace Malou, McLean and Milo Rashica, and a front two of Timu Puki and Adam Ida. The subs bench, Angus Gunn, Sam Byram, Ozan Kabak, Dimitris Yanulis, Kieran Dow, Christos Solis, Jacob Sorensen, Liam Gibbs and Jonathan Rowe. So that's Norwich City's team. It's obviously 7 changes from the FA Cup win on Sunday. Aarons, Gibson, Williams, Poheta, Rashica, Puki and Ida in from the start. Byram, Kabak, Yanulis, Dow, Sorensen, Sargent and Solis all drop out. Interesting that Josh Sargent isn't on the bench as well. We saw him kind of limp off in the cup victory over Charlton on Sunday. But Pad, let's kind of pick it up with Todd Cantwell, because that's what we were talking about just before the team news dropped. That seems to be kind of him not quite being recovered from the illness that ruled him out of Sunday's game.
Yeah, well, that's certainly the messaging that we're getting from the people who would know inside the football club. So I think Dean Smith said they hoped when he faced the media first thing yesterday morning he would train, having missed the previous days through illness. We'll find out a little bit more after the game, but reading between the lines, maybe he wasn't able to take part in that session, or if he was, he wasn't considered close enough. Now, of course, that'll inevitably unleash more speculation regarding his future, but we have to take what the club is saying at face value. The head coach said yesterday it's illness, and he's not involved tonight, and the message again delivered in the minutes just before the team news officially dropped is illness again. So he's definitely not here. We watched them all come off the team coach, and he wasn't part of the group. So, he's well away from the London Stadium. I don't think we need to assume he's anywhere heading to the Tyneside or East Midlands or wherever else he's been linked with. I mean, I've seen Newcastle linked with about 8,000 players since the start of the window. So I won't be building up your hopes too early if you're a Newcastle fan. I even saw Dele Alli getting linked today. If Tottenham are looking to offload him. So certainly, as we understand it, it's Todd Cantwell unavailable due to illness. And just on that one, I've just seen the West Ham lineup. No Souček for West Ham tonight. That could be a big positive for West Ham. There was a bit of talk in the press room, actually, that could be COVID. Could be a COVID absence with him, and he's definitely not in their 11. Declan Rice is, unfortunately, for Norwich, but no Souček. So best wishes to that lad if it is COVID-related, but ultimately that should improve Norwich's chances in a key area of the pitch. But certainly tonight, no Todd Cantwell. And Sargent's an interesting one, yeah. I mean, he did limp off. Dean Smith didn't suggest after the game when I asked him at Charlton it was anything too serious, but, clearly the fact that he's not available, he's not even made the bench, you would have to think that's probably injury-related. And again, we'll get full update on that after the game. But just to clarify, Todd Cantwell, not involved tonight, illness.
Yes, absolutely. I'll read you that West Ham team in full. I've got it in front of me here. Fabianski in goal, Kufal, Dawson, Diop and Cresswell, the back four, Rice, Lanzini, Fornells, Vlasic and Bowen, all behind Mikel Antonio, and a very, very young-looking bench for West Ham as well. They've got Areola, their substitute goalkeeper, Alice, Masiaku, Johnson, Ashby, Krul, Ekwa, Okaflex and Yarmolenko as on their subs bench as well. So no Souček as well, as you mentioned, Pad, although his performances have dipped slightly in the last couple of months or so. We were kind of talking before that team you dropped about a potential change of shape. Dean Smith has gone in that direction, but maybe not in the direction that we perhaps preempted. He's gone for a 4-4-2. At least that's what the club graphic shows. We'll obviously have to wait till kickoff and see if it exactly pans out that way. But what do you think he's thinking is behind that change of shape? Is it just about getting more support in and around Teemu Pukki, who has this season looked very isolated?
Yeah, it is. And obviously the main beneficiary is Adam Eder tonight. And it was interesting, we had those quotes a day or so ago now where Dean Smith essentially said he understands it's a very, very difficult, with Adam Eder, very, very difficult balancing act, because there's a young player with a lot of potential, goal scorer at youth level, who hasn't really had the game time, mainly because the systems that certainly Daniel Farker implemented, it was Teemu Pukki was the main man. And Dean Smith drew a parallel with a player he had at Aston Villa, Keenan Davis, who I think has just gone to Nottingham Forest. Another highly rated young forward who simply isn't maybe able to oust the number one. But as Dean Smith said, Norwich don't have too much in the striking department, to the extent where you couldn't really let him go out on loan, like a Barley Mumba, for example, did last week. Because in an ideal world, he needs to be playing regularly, and probably a stint in the Championship for 6 months would do him no harm, but simply won't happen because of the lack of available options Norwich have got at the top end of the pitch. But that said, Dean Smith went on to say that they'd been working with him hard on the training pitch. They'd seen signs of improvement, and that's underlined tonight, the fact that they trust him enough to give him another go. Interestingly, Tottenham, he started that game, 1 or 2 glimpses of promise, had that big chance in the second half, which he managed to scuff, but didn't really grasp the opportunity. Well, he's got another one tonight, and as much as we can say, yeah, you feel a little bit sorry for Adam Eder because he hasn't had the opportunities. When he has had the opportunities, maybe he hasn't actually taken them and grasped his opportunity. And he's got another one tonight. And really, if he's going to play anything more than what he has done this far, which is cameos off the bench for the rest of this season, he probably needs to take it tonight and show by the level of his performance that he is good enough to get a place in his team. I quite like the ambition that you've got him and Teemu, and you've got Rashica on the left and Puerta on the right. They'll obviously probably switch flanks at some point. But there's 4 attack-minded players. It's just, can they get enough ball to them? And given West Ham aren't really set up as a possession-based team, and they do like to counter on sides, it's a really interesting dynamic. Who's going to be able to counter who? Because you would think with pace in wide areas, such as Rashica and Puerta, and 2 out-and-out forwards, that Norwich will probably be looking to profit on the break and maybe hope that West Ham have more of the ball. So really interesting how it shakes down. But there's no doubt about it, for a team who have chronically failed to score in the Premier League, at least Dean Smith in his lineup tonight is suggesting that they're trying to do something about it. The fact that you're putting 2 out-and-out strikers and 2 wide players all in the same mix, we'll see. But it's certainly a step in the right direction, I think, for those who are calling out for a bit more support, as you said, Connor, to Teemu, because if it works tonight, he certainly won't be isolated. And I'm surprised that he's gone with Eder from the start. But as Dean Smith said, he's starting to show things on the training pitch which make them feel, him and Shakespeare, that maybe he can step up. And Dean Smith said he will get an opportunity. Well, he's got one tonight, so good luck, Adam Eder.
Yeah, it does feel like, I suppose, much like Norwich, really, that he just needs a moment, doesn't he, in the Premier League? A goal or a significant performance just to really set him on his way and maybe lead to some consistency in the team, because we certainly haven't seen that so far. Just to kind of take it away from the top end of the pitch, and I agree with you, Pat, it definitely looks like a formation that Dean Smith is targeting a goal with. I do wonder if it will morph into this kind of 4-2-2-2 formation that we've seen spoken about in a lot of debates around Manchester United. We shall see. They're certainly 2 natural wide players, aren't they? Milo Rashica and Przemysław Puerta. So that certainly wouldn't lead to that point. But just to kind of take it a little bit further back on the pitch, that midfield duo of McLean and Pierre Lees-Malou. I mean, we had a lengthy discussion about Pierre Lees-Malou in particular, but then Norwich City's midfield a bit more widely on the Monday Night Club, which people can listen to on the Pink and Plus app. Does that concern you, given Norwich City are up against Declan Rice tonight? And does it concern you that maybe that midfield could be slightly lightweight against this West Ham team?
Well, I'm less concerned now. I've seen Souček is not in the 11, because you did fear that him and Rice, everything we discussed on that Monday Night Club, Connor, about the athleticism and the power and the drive that you routinely encounter in Premier League midfielders, those 2 encapsulate it as good as any for me in the division. And they have been the heartbeat of this West Ham Revival really under David Moyes last 12, 18 months. Two quality international class operators, and for one of them to be unavailable tonight, it doesn't make it an easy task, but it certainly lessens the degree of difficulty in terms of can Norwich in that central area of the pitch get a degree of control and certainly competitive wise a degree of parity. And with McLean and Lise Malou, it's an opportunity for certainly Lise Malou again. But we need to see far more, without repeating what we said on the Monday Night Club, we need to see far more from him with and without the ball to convince me that he is a Premier League operator. But with no Gilmore, with no Rupp, with no Norman, it really wasn't a huge degree of options. And maybe that's also part of Dean Smith's thinking in going maybe with the two wide players and the two out and out, that maybe it's an admission that across the centre of the park, the three that he's tended to play since he got here, he doesn't really feel he wants to go with that. He went with Sorensen and those two at Charlton. Didn't really work, did it? Let's be honest. And so tonight he's gone with the two. And McLean and Lise Malou, well, we'll see. But ultimately, I think Norwich's chances of at least getting a foothold in the game, no doubt about it, improve without Souček there. But Rice is still a class operator, so they know they're going to have to play very, very well, McLean and Lise Malou, if it's not going to be, more questions really about what they can't do at this level rather than what they can do.
Yes, agreed, and it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I'm intrigued to see who takes up the more defensive of those positions. My instinct maybe says Kenny McLean, but we shall see. Who knows? Maybe Pierre-Lise Malou will have an opportunity to shine, and this will look a midfield two at the end of the game that is maybe a lot stronger than perhaps we're fearing at the start of it. Paddy, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, the guys are at the London Stadium. My colleague Dave Freeze will be on the live updates this evening at the Pink and Plus app. Make sure you subscribe to that. 30 days free trial, $1.99 a month thereafter. Some excellent content on there, including Chris Sutton's debut column, which went live this morning, which is an excellent read. I managed to get into that this afternoon. It's well worth it. Let's hope for a positive Norwich City performance and, well, maybe at least a goal. Thank you very much for watching.